Yo, so the opinions and views expressed in this podcast are that of our own and the future Bachelor podcast only, and not affiliated with any outside party or entity or anything like that. This fun podcast, though, may include some adult language.
Future Bachelor podcast.
Well, why don't we, get into what we like to do here? You know what I'm saying? I think we should. It's that time to talk about Bachelorette on our show! Yes, but before we get talking Bachelorette, YouTube, go ahead and subscribe, smash that thumbs up button, and hit that notification bell so you can get notified every time we drop new Bachelorette content just like this. And if you just did, huge shout out to you. And, we're doing a new thing here where if you write a comment on our YouTube videos, you get a shout out specifically for you. It's, this is our test trial for if we were ever to have a Patreon to see who actually supports us. So far, it's not working out too well. But you know who does shout us out? You get a shout out because she left a comment. Kathleen. Shout out to our commenter on our last video, Kathleen. Thanks, for doing
Kathleen.
that. Yeah, we love you. That's
You're
awesome.
A star.
You're a star. You could get a shout out just like this by leaving a comment below, letting us just know your thoughts. That's all you got to do. So, V, why don't we get into this double header of a week we got with week 9 of The Bachelorette? Where do we start?
So they did do us dirty by giving us 2 episodes this week, but honestly, I think we could have easily tossed it into one. But I feel that way all the time. I really don't think we need 4 hours of The Bachelorette. But yeah,
we could tell this season is definitely for just sponsors and ads and stuff.
Oh my God, they are trying to make that money as much as they can.
Yeah. But they might be just breaking even now, or I don't know, spending as much as they're making. But it's so crazy with these 2-night things because even with any of the shows, even with ones I really do enjoy, like Bachelor in Paradise, I always, it feels like literally a week ago, just last night. I can't remember things that happened the day before. So thank God we got you on the pod to keep us on track. But where do we start with night 1?
Yeah, so it's Fantasy Suites. They're in Riviera Maya. They're in Mexico, which I think was just an easy bet. So then they could just keep Jesse there for Paradise. I think they literally were and we're just gonna bring we'll talk about it a little bit more. But anyways, so we start off with our Fantasy Suite dates, and we start with Gabby first and Erich. They definitely seem like the strongest couple out of her group of men going into this week after the hometowns, and there's a lot of metaphors being done during their date. They go to this lover's leap. They really have to take the leap into this next step, going higher and higher on this scaffolding rickety bullshit. And they have their fun. I don't think that Gabby's in a bathing suit that makes sense for jumping off that high of heights to be jumping. I'm like, sis, your whole top's gonna just come right off. But hey, it is Fantasy Suites. Maybe that's the vibe.
You know what didn't come off? The black bar.
The black bar did not come off her booty. She must have had some little cheeky bikini bottoms on. So she definitely...
I don't understand that. I really don't. It's not like you don't see that on anything else on...
I don't know.
What? Don't they have beauty pageants and stuff on here where they're on bathing suits and that's just...
Yeah, but I guess maybe they're not as cheeky. Anyways.
Oh my gosh. We love good cheeks, though.
I love a good cheek, too.
Yeah, we know from where you went this weekend. But anyways, so yeah, she has a trouble trouble jumping up, but she's but
they do it together.
Yeah, so there's that. They're kissing so much that they're talking
all over.
And
she's
kissing.
Giddy.
Yeah.
She's obsessed. She's the second they met up, she was jumping. She was they couldn't keep their hands off each other. I felt like.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. This was the most boring Fantasy Suite stuff I've seen in a
episodes.
long time.
I feel like they usually kind of give us a little bit more to work with, a little bit more sexy, kind of lead into it. They were very big on all of these, show the light turning off, or show the closing of the door. There wasn't a lot of I feel like usually they get a little bit more playful with it, where it's all right, bye, to the camera people. And I feel like it was way more staged this time, which But, they
also, these men don't really stand out. Like,
none of them stand out. I feel like I know nothing about any of them.
Yeah.
But
I mean, those guys are going to be saying it too about each other and the girls. So,
I mean, yeah. So Erich, makes it to the dinner. They're having a great time. They go to the fantasy suite together. He accepts the card. They definitely seem to have had a nice time. They make breakfast in the morning. And when she's leaving to head out to have to do other dates and stuff, you could tell Erich is getting clingy. Erich is definitely, they must have discussed, which we get more into a little bit later. They must have discussed kind of like the nature of this week that night prior, but he's like very much so like, he's like, it's going to be so hard. It's going to be so hard. And she's like, trust me, like blah, blah, blah. And makes her way away, but he definitely is holding on to it, and we'll get to that later. But first up for Rach is Avon. They pretty much just spend all day being hot on a boat. They're both hot. They looked hot on the boat. Honestly, Avon speaks. I don't hear a goddamn word. He it's not because he's that hot. It's just more like, I don't think he's ever said anything of like real difference of anything that's ever been said on the show. Like nothing is.
Yeah, he's like a character on a show, like, like the perfect guy character,
He's nice.
He checks all the boxes. He's diverse, everything.
Right.
So
they seem to always have like a sweet, easy time together. I feel like I know nothing about their relationship otherwise. All I see is them just like being cutesy together, looking like they should be in a catalog. That's about it.
Yeah.
But that's enough to take him to fantasy suites.
Yeah. So we got 2 fantasy suites that seem like they've gone off without a hitch.
So yeah, and Rachel seems a little disheveled in the morning after her time with Avon and says that he's the whole package. And I'm like,
jeez, what is that supposed to mean?
All right, Rachel.
The whole package?
Yeah,
Goodness gracious.
But so next we have Tino. But before we even get to like Tino meeting up with Rachel, he like talks. Jesse comes and checks in on him. And, is making sure that she's doing okay. Like, because definitely Tino's all like, I'm just, I'm hyped to see her. This is my girl. Like, I'm here for her. But, like, having to wait makes me anxious. Whatever. But he doesn't have to wait that long because then he has his date with Rachel. And they do the very stereotypical, we're in Mexico things. They ride horses. They also jump off of areas to jump into deep bits of water. There's a lot of jumping into water happening in this episode and the other episode too. Mm-hmm. She definitely is still like, she's all like, yo, like your dad was not like, was coming for my ass, dude. And he's all like, no, I could see how maybe you could think that, but I'm sure they totally are into it. And she's all like, you positive? Like you sure? And he's like, yes, like, and honestly, like, all that matters is like, blah, blah, blah. Like, they'll see as long as I'm happy, all this and that. He pretty much reassures her. She likes him reaffirming that he's like falling in love.
It doesn't even matter if it happens. Like, his parents suck. Like,
his parents definitely, I think also he's younger too. Like, he's definitely like rebellious, all like, it doesn't matter what my parents think, as long as our love prevails. Like, okay, Tina.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the good thing is that he's not getting defensive about it.
Right.
Because that would make him look even worse. But, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I don't get good vibes from Tino.
I don't know. Tino is, I feel like we're going to see more of it in the finale. But Tino definitely seems like a short fuse or somebody who's easily going to flip a switch if shit doesn't go exactly the way he wants it.
Right.
And right now, Rachel's playing into his hand, and maybe vice versa. Maybe Tino's playing into Rachel's hand. I don't know. But they definitely, they both say that they're like, in love with each other. And this is after Rachel says at the beginning of the episode that she's going to really save saying love to anybody. She says she's falling in love with Avon, and then she says she loves, Tina.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It sounds like, you're continuing the vicious cycle that you got started in this game with. It's like, isn't that what Clayton
Yeah,
did?
isn't that? I know, because they took the beginning of the first episode this week to shit talk Clayton for a while.
Yeah.
They were all like, yeah, I mean, this time for us last time, Clayton just, totally acted like such an a-hole and didn't think about any of our feelings. What a bitch.
I don't know. I don't know why I found myself like wanting to like see them like not succeed this week. I don't know if it was like I don't know how to explain it. Like I felt like this in a couple episodes in the past, but like this one specifically, like I don't know. I guess
I don't think it's even that to me. I think it's more like everything feels so rushed even to us as viewers at this point. Like I feel like I haven't been able to like really find anybody to root for either, that I'm like, I don't really feel like these girls
it feels rushed, but at the same
are.
time, it feels like it's gone on too long. I don't know how to explain it. Like this is not.
I
a good
also
thing.
agree.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah. So I don't know. It just I guess has not worked for me this season. But
Right.
let's talk about like where like I guess we go into night 2. I don't know where the split is.
Well, no, we're not done yet with night 1
Okay.
because we had Gabby and Johnny.
Oh,
They don't
okay.
even make it to like the dinner portion
That's
of their day.
right. That's right. Gabby and Johnny. I mean Johnny was just
He's 25, she's 31.
Yeah.
She pretty much forces him to say how he's not ready to get engaged.
I mean, he was going to say that
He was
anyways.
going to say it anyways, but she pretty much is all like, just be honest with both of us here. And he's all like, yeah, I'm not
I
ready.
think it was a good thing because like I feel like, he would have gone into fantasy suites like just I guess trying to smash or something.
He's like, yeah, I'm just trying to.
Yeah, and
like,
then the
she's
next
hot.
day like be like, yeah, I can't. Like I guess that's kind of like the name of the game right now is all these people should just ride it to the end and just be like, I'm not getting married. I'm not getting married, Like that's
Ride
just
it to the end, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because like at this point, nobody is serious here except for the leads who like probably aren't serious themselves. Like maybe
They say they want engagements. These girls are very, very much so holding to this idea of wanting engagements.
But I think that's just like
I think is biting them in the butts right now.
Yeah, but I think that's what's forced on the leads of the show.
I don't disagree. Yeah,
it's like they have to be like, all right, well, if you're going to be the lead of the show, we need you to continue like the magic of like how this is like what the show is and what we're looking for and stuff. Like, do you want to be the lead? Are you looking to be married? Yes. That's what they say. Just, to be the bachelor, the bachelorette. But yeah, anyway, so Johnny's like, damn, all right, I guess.
And I guess this is goodbye.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, they have a little emotional goodbye. She walks away. And then we immediately see him in the Bachelor in Paradise promo, like seconds afterwards.
Yeah. I mean,
homie, I literally think, and people were like, Kelly John's, compadre, posted like one of the memes that showed it looked like he was wearing the same exact outfit. And they're all like, did they literally just like transport him over to the other resort? And we're all like, all right.
I mean, it would make sense logistically to make it all like kind of work out where, let's just take like the best people from here and throw them onto the island. Like we get like 2 weeks between or something. Like even maybe they're already filming Bachelor in Paradise.
I mean, I think they might have been.
Little crossover there. Well, yeah. So we end with that. And then it kind of ends with this like cliffhanger of like Erich. I don't even understand what happens.
Erich sends her a note to like have Gabby meet him on the bridge. And so she goes and like they're all happy, whatever. And then he pretty much lays out like almost like an ultimatum, being all like, just so you know, like I can't imagine you being with anybody else, blah, 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 blah. Like, and she's all like, bro, really? She gets really upset because she's all like, we talked about this all without the cameras and we discussed it. She's like, why are we rehashing the same conversation? Why are you doing that to me? And she starts to get like really upset and then she walks away.
So this is where I kind of get like pissed off at Gabby. It's like,
I kind of get pissed off too. And I also don't love Erich being all like, this was supposed to be positive. Obviously, I think there's some production manipulation to be all like, you should invite Gabby out and like say this or that. There can't not be. There has to be.
No, I mean, this is, I don't know. I saw a little Clayton and Gabby here. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like.
A little bit.
I just remember the conversation where Clayton's like, what are we talking about? Like, this is what we had to do. Like, I'm supposed to explore, like, whatever.
But
And
I guess my thing is like, then I would say that more in like Erich, because Erich's the one who like, you know, is rehashing stuff. At least he did say, he said like what he wanted to say the night before. And then she's all like, why are you bringing it up again? Like, why? Like, we already discussed this. We're over it. Like,
yeah, I just feel like there was no understanding on Gabby's part. Like, this is just hard. Like, she didn't remember what it was like to be in those shoes, like, you know? And it just felt weird. Like, it just felt weird. Like, she got so offended by it. Like, it ends up coming to bite her in the butt, I think, because, you know, this is why, like, I find myself rooting against these girls, like, because, you know, it's just like, she kind of like, she's going to have to come back with her tail between her legs. You know what I'm saying? Like later on when he was like, all he wanted was just her and all that stuff. And now like, you know, fast forward, like you'll get to night 2 where he's all that's left. Like, you know?
Well, yeah. I mean, and she even does like, she takes some time to like walk away, process a little bit, comes back and she's all like, you know,
so that's kind of where night 2 starts, right?
Yeah, that's where night 2 starts. And she, you know, kind of, they let it lie. They reconcile. They get over it.
She makes him feel like shit. Like he's like, what did I do? Like, you know, and honestly, from what I saw, he didn't do much. Like all he did was miss her. They had like a night together that like, it's just natural to be like, I just like when you're like stuck by yourself. And This is one of the things that, you know, I don't know if they filmed or they didn't, but, you know, usually we would, last couple seasons, we've seen like the guys all get together and talk afterwards.
Yeah. Like, and I don't think they're doing that this season. I don't think they're doing that anymore because I think.
Maybe COVID?
Maybe. I think more of the idea, I think they implemented that back with Pilot Pete season because they really wanted to make Maddie Pruitt, who was a virgin, who is still a virgin, uncomfortable with the idea of watching people come back and possibly, you know.
Well, regardless, I just feel like, you know, he just was like, I don't know. I think it's fair enough for him to be like, this could ruin everything that we have if like I find out that you've had sex in between this time. I know it's part of the show, but I would be remiss to not like tell you, like, you know. I think that's fair.
I think it's fair. I think he maybe just didn't do it the best way.
Yeah. Well,
especially because it seems very performative then if they already went through that whole conversation the night prior during their time.
You just wanted to reiterate though, the stakes are high and every moment counts because it's like she's on her way to go see another guy and it's like, you know, so.
And she is on her way to see another guy. She's on her way to hang out with Jason. And Jason pretty much meets with Jesse beforehand and is all like, I'm not in it to win it.
Yeah.
He's very, very like monotone, emotionless kind of dude. He tells Jesse, he's like, I don't think I can see an engagement at the end of this. Like, I just don't I really like my time with Gabby. I just don't think I can do it kind of deal. And
they Jesse's have a great day and she's like on cloud 9 essentially.
She's hype. She thinks that they have like a closer relationship. She also like really got in good with his fam. Like she, you know, they're great all day and they do stuff that he loves to do. They play tennis. They, you know, and he's pretty much like affirming her the entire date, being all like, oh, this is so fun. We have so much great time. Like, I feel so close with you, blah, 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 blah. But then like to the camera, to us, he's all like,
well, I mean, I think it's just like you like a girl, but you're like, yo, they're telling me in a week I have to like propose to her. Like, this is kind of crazy, you know?
Right.
It all starts to settle in. So at dinner, he pretty much says that to her. And I think he like says it as best as possible. You know, he's like,
yeah.
I mean,
he does the best he can. She like has to take a moment to walk away, comes back. They kind of discuss more of like, well, should we take this overnight date to discuss this more? See if this, because he's all like, you know, like I really enjoy spending time with you. I just don't really know. Like, I can see a future with you. I just don't know if that means engagement in a week.
Yeah.
And she's all like, well, do we want to take this overnight date to discuss more? And he's like, yeah, sure. So they supposedly go and do that, except it seems like they just, the discussion did not go well.
Yeah, they were just talking in circles. Like, you know, he didn't really stay with her. He ended up probably leaving at some point. And
I think she left to go to her room, either or. They left to go to their own separate rooms. So, then pretty much it leaves Gabby to have to go in the morning and like end things, and he says that he's sorry. He's like, I just can't do it. And she's all like, and because the things that he had said was that
she felt like she was led on.
Yeah, because he says that he doesn't even know her really, and that she doesn't know him, and she's all like,
it's
well,
true.
Then what have we been doing? What have we been doing?
It's true. It's true. It's like, I just feel like, you don't know who I am yet, and I'm supposed to propose to you. I get it. Maybe I should, like, he didn't.
I know, but like, he also hadn't been opening up, so it's kind of his own fault.
Yeah, I mean, but he admittedly said that, like, with the mics and the cameras and all this stuff.
I get that, but then like,
it's not like he was faking anything. I mean, you could tell from the beginning. I thought he was going to be a villain the way he was, but like,
me too.
I honestly think from the very get-go, he's been uncomfortable with this whole thing,
which, I mean, I get that, but then I feel like you should have tapped out. You should have tapped out earlier.
Yeah, maybe.
If you know that about yourself, then, because I get how she would feel led on if she's like, we made it all the way to this point. And like whatever, but she also has her whole complex of being unloved. So that's going to be her driving force in this whole thing, as it seems to be towards the end of this, this season, is that she like gets really upset. She's all like, Johnny couldn't love me. Jason couldn't love me. Blah, blah, blah. Like, what am I going to do?
All right, whatever. So he goes home and they're not a thing anymore, and so that just leaves Erich, which we'll talk about in a little bit here.
Yeah, but
let's go back to fake Rachel, and Zach, because they have a wonderful day. It looks like Zach is great.
I love Zach.
Yeah, Zach is like the ideal.
I date Zach.
This is all I'm saying is like he's like what.
If you're a lead, you're looking for. Rachel even says it. He's everything I want in a partner.
Yeah. So
he actively checks all the boxes, and I feel like we actually know shit about it. Like Zach is like an actual active character in this show that we,
and genuine. Like, I feel like he's not putting on anything. Like,
right.
So he gets to go to the fantasy suite. It seems like once they were behind closed doors, like Rachel is coming up, like, for me, it sounds like she just already made up in her head that she's gonna go with either the other two, with either Tino.
And so she's trying to place the blame on Zach.
Yeah,
is the vibe
yeah,
I'm getting.
like exactly.
I'm getting that she's trying to be like, you're too young, you don't really want this. How could you really? Even though she was all like, your family loves me, our families love each other, blah 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 blah.
Trying to find any reason to have it be.
She keeps telling him that, and like he gets.
I believe that too, because like, I don't know, like it just seemed,
I could see her because I
look
think
how fake she was being, like on the dates and like letting him go.
I feel like she wanted to talk herself out of the fact that she did something that she probably thought that she wouldn't do. She said that she was falling in love with Avon, and she said that she was. Well,
she already probably had sex with Avon and Tino.
Yeah, and she was falling in love with Tino, and I think she wanted to, She wanted to make sure that she wasn't going to be painted the same way as Clayton. And so I think she was trying to make herself, like, try to make him break up with her kind of situation instead of her having to be the one to do it. But obviously homie wasn't standing down, because he was all like, no, like, I see a life with you. Like, I'm ready for engagement, whatever. But he gets upset that was, like, questioned so much. He goes to Jesse. They talk it out. He's obviously a mess as they're heading into this rose ceremony. But
yeah, so they go into the rose ceremony, and Zach, well, first of all, Jesse tells Rachel that Gabby won't be doing this. It'll be just her rose ceremony tonight, because it'd be pretty silly for Gabby to have a rose ceremony.
Gabby to be like, here you go.
Please take it, because otherwise this is over for me. But yeah, so Rachel has a rose ceremony. She's on top of the world, like not anything could bother her. And
then Zach calls her to the side right as she's about to lift up that first rose.
Yeah. And then it goes to Gabby and Erich again. Gabby has to go running back to Erich because that's the only guy left. And she feels like, this is where it's like she looks stupid for making such a big deal about all that stuff earlier, because it's like, yo,
I think
the one guy that actually cares about like anything about her, all the other guys, just like boys, will say left. And
I know. And I think, and she even kind of admits to that. She's all like, you know, you've been fighting for me this whole time. Like, it took me a while for like me to process like actually accepting love like that, blah, blah, blah. But like, she's like, I do love you. They say that they love each other. They're all like, us till the end of time. Woohoo! Like, they're like so giddy and whatever. And he's like, okay, I'll see you later. Like, they kiss, 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 kiss. And we don't know.
Like, now the ball's in Erich's court, you know what I'm saying? So
it is.
It's gonna be. I don't know. Those previews for next week look good. Like
the previews actually look worth my while because they did a super dramatic. Like I was literally screaming at my TV as Jesse came out. He's like, "I know you wanted to see."
They're like having like
rose ceremony.
Backstage
He's
of
like, "But I'm sorry, I can't give that to you because instead." We're going to do it live here on this stage, blah, 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 blah. And I'm literally like screaming like, fuck you, Jesse Palmer, just give me a fucking rose ceremony. What is going on? Like, and then, but the previews are showing that it looks like some of these dudes are going back to Jesse to be all like, either flip-flopping or changing things. There looks to be some lying or things happening, some changing of hearts. I don't know because Gabby looks upset. And that is not where we just left her with Erich. So
and Rachel too. Like Rachel's like, I need an answer, and I need an answer now.
Yeah, Rachel looks upset with multiple dudes. So I'm like, what are all of them doing now?
I'm gonna love this episode. I feel like, because you know, I don't know. Like I do feel like there was like, especially when it comes to Rachel, there was like this power hunger about it, it was ironic whole, like, because of coming off of the Clayton.
Greedy.
It was the. Yeah, sorry. I just feel like it's just like ironic for the fact that, you know, how much shit they talked about Clayton. It's like you don't know what it's like until you're in that situation. To sit here and dog somebody, like it's like, come on. I mean, I'm not gonna say the man is perfect or anything, but like it's just like you don't know how to navigate this stuff until you're in there. So I'm pretty sure, like, you know, I don't know. I mean, there's obviously rumors of like Gabby going to be on Dancing with Stars.
Dancing with the Stars.
They're not saying that about Rachel. Because like I'm sure Rachel didn't test well with audiences.
Well, I mean, Gabby also was a basketball sidelines dancer.
Yeah.
That's probably
But
why.
no one cares about seeing Rachel on Dancing with the Stars. That's all I'm saying.
I love Rachel though. I love Rachel as a person. I do.
Well, we'll see. We'll have to see how this all turns out for them. What do you think? Do you think anyone ends up with anybody? Leave us in the comments.
No, dude.
Leave us.
I don't know because the way that they looked at the Men Tell All, they both looked antsy.
Well, I'm here for it. Anything else happening in Bachelor Nation this week?
Yeah. So Clare went a fish with Clare Crawley went a fish with her boyfriend Ryan Dawkins on Instagram, acting like, honestly, in true Clare Crawley fashion, acting like a 16-year-old. It's like them driving in the car, listening to like literally an old like Chris Brown or something song. I don't remember, but it's like not a song that's like of particular like crazy note where it's like, I love this song because he's like singing along or whatever. And I'm like, bitch, whatever. But good
so
for
the
her.
countdown
Happy
has
that,
begun
you know,
of when they break up, and we announced that, right? Anything else?
And then Jed Wyatt's ex, Haley Stevens, just got married to Hannah Brown's brother, Patrick, in Colorado. So I remember when they were dating or when they got engaged, but it is still hilarious that that connection happened, that, you know.
I mean, technically that's just the Bachelor working.
But indirectly, as it does. But,
I mean, obviously Jed Wyatt's ex is Hannah Brown.
Yep.
And this man's now new wife. So, I mean, I don't know who gets the last laugh here, but it's a mess. It's a mess. It could be a play.
It could be a play.
I just watched a play like that, so that's why I said that. Anyways, well, guys, you know, you could be like Kathleen, get a shout out on a video like this. All you have to do is let us know. Would you marry your sibling's ex-girlfriend? girlfriend or boyfriend, let us know. Would you go public after being ridiculed for all your relationships with your new relationship? Let us know in the comments. I don't know. Would you want to see Rachel on Dancing with the Stars? I want to know. Who would you pick to marry? Erich, Avon, Tino, Johnny? Not around anymore, so you can't pick him. But let us know. We got Bachelor in Paradise coming up here soon, which I'm very excited about. So hopefully let's get this out of the way.
I'm excited to see the mess that is that. It looks very messy for sure.
So what? How many more weeks of this do we have?
This literally runs us up right into whatchamacallit. So next week, Tuesday episode, finale part 1, the 13th. And then week after that, Tuesday episode, September 20th, finale part 2.
Wow.
And after the final rose. And then 27th, first episode of Bachelor in Paradise.
Wow, okay. Well, guys, we'll see you next week with another part 1, part 2 thing.
Future Bachelor Podcast.